Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. So we'll get started here in just a moment. Just need to go ahead and get the game up and sorted. Yeah, so I thought we'd do a little bit more of a play-by-email discussion, really. And we do have something actually worked out here today, so I'll go ahead and show you that in a second. There we are. I do hope you're all doing well. How you doing, Jakob? Good to have you, my man. Yeah, so I'd gone through, and I was actually going to do a stream yesterday, but it did take me a little while longer than I imagined it would do. It's pretty amusing, actually, when you follow a guide, how long it can actually take when you're having to, like, right, okay, I'm going to do this, 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 and this. Okay, let's wait for the game to load here. Don't worry about the screen. There we are. I was a little worried there for a second, but there we are. Okay, so what I've gone ahead and done then is I went ahead and followed the guide I mentioned the other day. So you can go ahead and find this here. I'm going to go ahead and post it in the actual chat if you guys want to take a look at it. But yeah, you can go ahead and download the actual file here. And it goes through essentially their turn 1 setup. It's geared towards having, like, ideally as much damage to the VVS as possible. I just wanted to take a quick look at that. How you doing there, Georgie George? Looking rather sexy. Yes, so we have that set up. I thought, you know what, even though the patch is a little bit wonky regarding air power at the moment in time, I wanted to go ahead and actually showcase what we would probably do during the first turn. And there's some interesting moves, actually. I mean, we do not have ground support enabled here today. And I probably won't enable that until, let's say if this is a proper game. I'd probably have play-by-email game, I should say. I'd say I'd probably have ground support enabled probably second turn, perhaps. First turn, really going all in on the actual attacking of the airfields. And as you can see, we do have quite a few there. You can see that we do have ones over here where they are covered in multiple hexes and multiple airfields. And these are ones over here which are measured attacks. I've not run this as a test yet, so it'll be interesting to see how it actually looks and turns out in actuality. Now, of course, with the way that the actual air mechanics are, it's hard to say essentially how it may look in the future. But I'm just going to go ahead and take a quick look through then. So if we find... here we go. If we go ahead and select the flop one. Oh, well, let me go ahead and double check that, in fact. Alright. Okay. So that would be for ground support. Yeah, here we are. So we do have some alterations over here then to altitudes, but if I go in here, it'll be easy to see. So the guide had essentially 9k, 26, 17, 9, and 17, I do believe there. You can see how we've got things set up here. So bombing of cities takes place at night on the 3rd and the 6th day over here. Ground attacks we run them on the 1st day, which makes sense. I mean, this is it. It's less chance to be intercepted and more likely to have things actually work out for us. How you doing there, Noel? Good to have you. Axis Sally. Yeah, that'd be really cool, actually. That would be very interesting. But yeah, this is what we have here so far, and what we're going with. So we'll go ahead and thank you very much, Remote Play, for coming on there a little bit late. Sometimes it is there on the start, sometimes it isn't. But yeah, that's what we're going for. Now, you'll be able to follow the actual guide and see why things have been done that in this particular way. But if I go ahead and take a look, whereabouts are we? KG... here we are. So essentially we're going ahead and change the loadouts of aircraft. Not every one of them had to be changed, but for example, we are going for multiple bombs over here. Where we get... That was a... Right. I did enable... Sorry, I did install an actual mod as well that changes... not only the GUI over here, so you can see that we do have some changes, but we also... If I go ahead and bring units up over here, I don't know if it was like that beforehand, actually. Yeah, so we do have, I believe they're changed. I'd have to compare them to what they were beforehand, but I believe they will be different, or they should be different. But I could be completely wrong. I think it's more so the higher headquarters, but in all, they should have their historical... iconography. I'm trying to think of what the word would be. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I believe it's worked. So I guess you guys can tell me if it's any different. And go ahead and yeah, there we go. That was pretty cool. That one's very cool. That one's definitely different. I don't think they had that before, but I can't recall now. It's one of those things, isn't it? When you actually start something up, you tend to forget what it was beforehand. But yeah, we're going with that then. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is we'll go for about 2 speed, and then we'll run the actual air turn and just see how that goes. But before that, I am going to go ahead and actually set up naval patrols. So if I go ahead and just switch these off for the time being. Now, we do have... there we are. The Aussie over here. And they do come with the very nice, very handy BV-13s. Well, 138Cs. So, the unfortunate thing is we only have the 50kg bombs. Now, that's not bad. Versus, like, naval assets in general, so obviously, like, warships and ships, but most of the ships here. Multiple smaller bombs work relatively well. If we had our choice, we really would prefer to have, like, bombs, really. Sorry, mines. Yeah, that's the general idea there, Salty, but it could be others as well. It's just, well, I was thinking, I played an actual AI game, but I haven't really done anything geared towards the player by email, so I'm going to sort of treat this as if it was against a human player, and just essentially try and learn from that, really. That's generally going to be the plan there. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and set up a naval patrol. So, let's see, within here then as well, we do have a Junker 88As. Yeah, see, these guys can actually have the LMA mines. They can also have the auxiliary tanks, but I don't think the auxiliary tanks are required there. But let's go ahead and check. Okay. They can have some pretty damn good range. But the mines are actually pretty damn useful. Is that range required though? That's going to be the question. What's the range of these guys? Oh, wow. Yeah, those... Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, they have some pretty spectacular range there. Is this part of Aussie? It is, yeah, that's good to see. Okay. Yeah, this is why we want the mines. We'll go ahead and take a look at the mine shortly enough, actually. So 400 miles should be enough range there. That should be fine. And we still carry 2 LMA mines. It just alters their speed, but we do gain endurance. Question is, do I actually need that additional endurance? I guess we'll find out. Yeah. We'll go ahead and alter that in a moment. What I'm going to go ahead and do then is I should take a look at the commander's report, then we'll take a look at the actual equipment here. This would be normal. I mean, I'm not really going to play this game per se. There's a bit of a difficulty with the actual patch at the moment. So even playing against AI, I don't think it'd be particularly great. But this is a good place to actually just demonstrate what we're going to do. I mean, playing at normal, I mean, it's going to be the same setup as the human player would actually have. We do have the Axis turn first, so we get to experience a lot of things as they would happen, so that's fine by me. I think it makes for a good, well, theory crafting, really. Investigation, God, I can't speak. Let me go ahead and find that mine. Whatever it is. I actually should go ahead and sort that. Oh, there we go, we have flame. Okay. That's actually pretty handy, though. You can actually see those stats there. Oh, looking for the mine. Where's that gonna be? Might be worthwhile to actually go ahead and sort by certain stats then. I don't think you can actually see the stats of the weapon when you actually... Oh, can you? We'll go ahead and double check that. If I just go ahead and clear that temporarily. So, whereabouts are they? Ah, there they are. That's where the BVs are. Okay, so they're over here to Königsberg as well then. Let's take a look at the Königsberg group then. Can I take a look at that weapon? No, I can't from here then. Fair enough. Back over here we go then. I wonder if it'd be blast. Strikes me that it might be blast time. That could be completely wrong. May very well be considered an aircraft weapon, in fact. We'll find it. Oh, these are interesting. My assumption of blast has been wrong, but we are near mines now. Okay. There we are, LMA mine. Right. Okay, low 12. Okay. That would have been helpful. So, that's interesting then. So they don't have blast. Oh, okay. So they're treated differently than to other weapons. That's interesting. I do have our LMA over here, but... yeah, okay, so it's the effect then it seems to be then. That's good to know. Soviet turn 1 looks like just dealing with the Axis assault. I mean, the way this game goes, it goes Axis and then it goes Soviet. You don't have it at the same time as you do with War in the Pacific. But anyway, we'll go ahead and set that up then. So where's my naval patrol? There we are. So essentially what we're going to go ahead and do then, I've been given advice that if we run naval patrol around this port over here, we would then turn to have the actual AOG head down here and be used against Odessa basically. By running the naval patrol over here, I believe we can starve them out. Yeah. Of course, I'm still learning what would be good out here. But I'm going to go ahead and set it up over this way. Let's go ahead and actually take a look at the interception. Right, so there's no interception here at turn 1. That's fine then. So we do want it close to the actual port. Do we have any information? So they do have SB2s then. So they do, yeah, they have bombers there. There are fighters over here. So I-16s and R5s. They shouldn't have the range, so I'm going to go ahead and run it out over here then. Alright, let me go ahead and take the Flot 1. Have that there. Now I'm going to go ahead and actually assign them manually then. Right, too high of an altitude, obviously can reduce that. Yeah, it's interesting with the BVs. The mines are really good actually, it does make you wonder about the BVs, but it's probably worthwhile to have them in. Yeah, so we can run 16, that's fine. So they would run both. I would want to... Can they only run the daytime? Interesting, okay. Learning things here. Right, we'll have them do that. Damn. It's when I go over that, isn't it? Go away. Thanks. Oh, this thing. I need to get rid of that later. Okay, so I don't really want to fly over there. So we'd have his base out this way. Fly along the actual coastline. Though in fairness, it may just be worthwhile to fly over land. Let's go ahead and take a look at the flak. So there's no flak to run along here from the city at least. There is a little bit of unit flak, but not too bad. There's some flak out here. If I take a look then at... yeah, so there's fighters over here then. Okay. Hey, there, Sergey. Good to have you, my friend. Thanks much. That's really positive, in fact. Okay, so we could potentially run a overland, but we really want to be out here then. So, be in patrol, we can stay out this way, no problem. Though, I could try to avoid some of the poorer river. Yeah, rain might be worthwhile avoiding. Hey, there, no name. Good to have you, my friend. Yeah, so maybe we'll just go ahead and go this way then. I can avoid some of the issues regarding the actual fighters. In fact... yeah, it should be fine. I'm going to go ahead and actually just let the AI sort its path then. So we'll go ahead and set that up again. So cancel that and then do that again. I think it's one of those of where there's fighters over here. And it doesn't make that much of a difference. We're going to hit that airbase anyway. Alright, there we are. Yeah, go down to 16. Have them assigned there. Yeah. Only issue would be we're bombing the airfields on day 1. The enemy's ability to actually intercept increases. It should be okay. We'll take this as a learning experience and see how it goes then. So we'll go ahead and confirm that. Now, I do wonder about reconnaissance, in fact. Obviously, it would be quite ideal to have, but I'm just wondering about it, really. We'll go ahead and actually take a look at what we have here to begin with. So that's the kicker. Alright. So we produce 3 of these. I live in Sheffield, but I'm not from Sheffield. I'd be quite shocked if I did have a Sheffield accent, actually. I would be actually pretty shocked there. I don't know what Hawkeye is. It sounds cool, though. Yeah, so we can see there we have 6 Focke-Wulf 189As. Yeah, we don't produce all that many. And we already have less than we would prefer. Yeah, I think when it comes to reconnaissance, I think what we're going to probably do then is hold it back at least for a while, perhaps. So that's what we have in the active pool. The Dorniers we actually have a decent amount of, which is pretty handy. Production filter on. Right. Okay. So it looks like at the moment we're producing, we go ahead and put all pools on there. Oh, I've heard about that Soviet Storm one. No, but I think some of these tracks are actually shared. They are pretty damn useful, in fairness. But yeah, I'm just thinking over here then, because we do have just a Focke-Wulf 189A and the BF 110E3. Even the 189A. So we have 20 in the pool there. Looks like we're missing 28. BF 110E3 we're alright on actually, but we don't produce all that many. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just avoid using reconnaissance here for now. I think so. How many do we actually have at this moment in time? Let's go ahead and select German. Production is going to be something that I would like to take a closer look into, really. Alright. Yeah, that's not many. So we have 82 in total, we have 68 ready to go, 14 are damaged on the airfield to begin with. And that's the Focke-Wulf 189A. Yeah. Reconnaissance is a difficult one for us. If I take a look at the BF-110Es, now we have 41 of those, we have 32 ready right now. I think probably what I would like to do then is just have them concentrated. Probably bring them in where we have like a larger offensive going on. Which is pretty tough because reconnaissance is pretty damn valuable. But then again, I guess this is it, isn't it, really? If it's that valuable, we might as well have it concentrated where we need it. Yeah, we'll go with that. I know I spent the last, like, near 20 minutes waffling, but it's important to waffle sometimes. That I need to warm up. Yeah, okay. We'll go ahead and take a look at the actual production of other nations, then. Finland we don't need to worry about too much. Right. Yeah. It just looks like reconnaissance is going to be somewhat limited, but... yeah. I say produce the Hankels. Yeah. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to use my reconnaissance too much initially. So I'm pretty happy with that then. We'll go ahead and just run the actual first turn of air, and then just see how it goes. With the current setup, I'm not too sure the first time testing it, but we'll see how it goes then. So, something I did like as well is that we do have actual air attacks over here. Essentially, we're trying to hit as much of the VVS as we can. Really just try and cause as much damage to the VVS as we can do, which would be quite good. So let me go ahead and take a look at the opening here. So they begin with 9,708 aircraft, 8,043 are ready. We have 3,081, 2,353. So we'll see how that goes then, and we'll go ahead and run that then. That sound good to me? We'll run with message level 2 then, just so we don't go through too quickly. We'll execute our directives and see how that goes then. Hopefully well. Now, I believe the naval patrol probably will cost me. but we'll see about that. If I can isolate them, that'd be ideal. Okay, let me go ahead and put that up to 3 then. 4? Okay. I was hoping we could get a little bit more detail there, but apparently not. It looks to be going relatively well so far. We're looking for under about 200. We're running entirely day 1, so we do have some room there. Flak 34. Operational was 55 there. Yeah, there we go. There's Naval Patrol. So it looks like it's the end of the actual ground attack. So not bad there, really, actually. Lost is actually okay. I do wonder how many we got from the Naval Patrol. And we could have actually changed things up a little bit more. There were certain areas where I was a little less aggressive. I think it might have been either Riga and over here, but I think Riga was set to lower priority, in fact. And that one might have been set to lower priority. I'll have to check that. It doesn't look like Naval Patrols hurt too much. Oh, I forgot to set the distance there, didn't I? Damn it. Okay. Right. Where did we have the losses? Yeah, so I had 23 there from the actual Naval Patrol. So would have lost less if we'd not done that. But we'll see how it looks here then during the actual time of day. I may have to reload, so I forgot to set the range. Yeah, could have done with that there. Let me just go ahead and reload that there then. I just need to go ahead and actually set up that. So we have a general knowledge of how things will go then. I might go ahead and just alter some settings then, perhaps. We managed about 4,000 then. We had about 20 of the 100-ish losses from the Naval Patrol then. So that went relatively well. I was hoping we could have had a little bit more detail there. Maybe I bugged something with the message level, I'm not too sure. Not that. Should be alright, should tell us. There we are. Let me go ahead and just set that to medium then, perhaps. See how we go with that one then. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and edit, I think probably edit some of these then. So this one over here then, so that one was very high priority then, which means I think it was, yes, this one was set over here to low priority. I'm just wondering then, this is very high priority then, okay. What I could perhaps go ahead and do then is take the actual Naval Patrol. Now I've got the AOG assigned here directly. I'm just wondering if flying over here didn't help them. But I think perhaps the fact that they flew multiple days didn't really help them. I think what I'm going to go ahead and do then is just set that to 1 here. I know it's not particularly ideal, but if I could try and cause some interception perhaps. Then again, is it worth it? But I do want to try and actually have them... Oh, I don't know actually. There's an argument to be made for having these guys positioned down here by Odessa earlier. But we'll see how we go. I think I could probably reduce some losses by flying a little bit differently. So, and also, yeah, but we do need multiple days. Let's try going out to sea a little bit then. Try something like that, then I'll just make that a 1 in that area then. Ideally that goes relatively well. Okay. Yeah, I'll just see how that goes then. I'm just curious to see Naval Patrol. So I would like to isolate this area if we can, or at least cause some interdiction around here. Which would mean then, once we actually did capture Riga during that first turn, so obviously once we do cut this area off, then these guys over here wouldn't be able to receive anything. Yeah, that should work out relatively well. We'll see how it goes. It's a learning experience anyway. I know it sounds kind of weird. Like, usually I have something like organized and structured here. And this is very unstructured, which is why I always sound a little bit weird. Okay, I'm just thinking then, what do we have over here then at Riga? We have 73. This one over here have an I-16 Type 18s. And the flak? How does that look? 1131. Now we had a good number of losses due to operational, but also due to flak. So I could potentially set that one to lower priority and set this one up. So we have a level 2 airfield. Yes. I think I'm going to go ahead and make that one lower priority, because I know I can absolutely and definitely will take Riga. This one should be taken as well, but it may be just so happen. It may just so happen to be outside our range initially, but I doubt that. Should be able to manage that. So I'm going to set that one to lower priority and this one to higher priority. See if I can try and reduce the amount of flak losses there. Maybe I didn't, yeah, I think it's worthwhile trying to isolate this. I've been given advice that it's apparently a good idea, but I may be doing it the wrong way. But again, this is just learning how to exploit the VVS on the ground here during the first turn. We'll go ahead once we're into the actual ground phase. We'll take a look at the actual special turn 1 rules for the Axis, which are really quite nice. So yeah, we'll go ahead and set that up in a sec. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and set this one up over here then. And take this one and make that a lower one. There's still a chance it can be hit, but it's not as high of a priority. We're still going out in the first day as well then, so it should be relatively good. So what I'll do is just make a quick save here. Let's call that V2. But yeah, about 4k losses and just about 100's not bad at all then. 20 of those being patrols, so yeah. We'll see how that goes in this turn. There we are. Definitely lots of things that can be done to tweak it, I guess. Right. Yeah, there we are. So knock out all of them on the ground here. That's good. Yeah, this is the information I was looking for, really. I'm really interested just to see where we're being intercepted, because that'll help us to actually improve here. So we knock out 61 there. Now, we're flying here about 5,000 feet. And these guys are dropping 2850 kilogram bombs, I believe. Yeah, that's a big base knockout. Almost complete destruction there. There we go, that's good. Yeah, so in the first turn, really, the German air power, I mean, we are using against airfields, but it's never really, again, going to happen there. What we're going to be doing then from the point on in the future, either go and knock out all the SB2s there. Yeah, so in the future, what we'll be doing essentially is focusing on just trying to maintain supremacy and ground support for the most part. Level bombing could potentially be done strategically. We could potentially attack rail yards. That could be useful enough. I'm fairly happy with this so far. I mean, we've done 527 sorties here. We've only had 8 losses so far, and all 8 losses have been operational thus far. So it's looking pretty good. I think it's just going to be a case of just trying to improve it. But so far, I mean, this is the thing as well. We do have a turn 1 special rules on our side, so yeah, it definitely helps. The chances for the enemy to intercept us are a lot lower, which is very handy. Can I make this a lower level? Will that make a difference? Apparently not. That's quite a few big threes though. Yeah, this is about the right speed. That's good. Now that we are causing damage to the airfield as well here. Right, so we had 3 shot down by flak. I didn't actually notice where that was though. So the Naval Patrol's gone out then. I would be very interested to see, yeah, so we have one there down by flak. Okay. Thanks, Nord. That's quite good. Okay. Now, do keep an eye on the actual guns over here when we do hit a target with flak. That's going to be quite important too. Right, 37's there. Still no air interceptions. Which I imagine there's not going to be many of those. Yeah, so I think we had most of the actual air-to-air losses then come from the naval patrols, it seems then. That's a big one I'm looking for. So far, no air-to-air. Yeah. 2/3 of our losses have been operational. The chance to be shot down by flak during the first turn, I think it's, I can't remember what the actual rule is. We'll have to look at that one. But yeah, the first turn rules are very good to us. The special rules are very good to us. The one I'd fear would be down here in Romania. So I could potentially change where certain air groups are moved. Well, certain air regiments are. So we have a number of fighters. The actual guide, there was a base, an air base over here at like Hussey or something like that. But in this version of the game, it's not there. So I'm just wondering how that might have affected things. So far going well, though. Ooh, wow, okay. So we had a number intercepted over there. 17, that was hefty. That was actually hefty, man. Yeah, that 17 was really rough. Up to 18 now. So it seems like around Odessa, which makes sense then. So we have, looks like flak there. I may alter the priority then of the one near Odessa then. I mean, having those bombs shot down was kind of rough. That's Minsk itself. There we go. Hit and reconnaissance is good. If we could have knocked them all out, that'd been good. Really trying to aim for as low numbers as we can manage. Yeah, knocking out those IL-4s is nice. Yeah, look at that. There's quite a few there. We'll take a look at what we've knocked out as well during the actual turn. SU-2s. No, actually, I'm quite happy with this so far, Ben. I think it's been a very good guide. We'll just have to tweak it a little bit. It'd be interesting to see if we could actually improve on it, though. Like, is it possible to gain... Ah, there we go, so we have air combat there. Yeah. So that's the issue with these ones that are far out there. There's a chance for them to be intercepted, and when they are intercepted, they're unescorted. Due to the range there. Something to be learned from that one, Ben. So we had 42 air losses there. We'll take a look at those ones. And then what I might go ahead and actually do then is set them to lower priority, perhaps. Or even, I don't know, is it... I guess it's one of those where it's going to be a chance of them being intercepted or not, really. We could lower the actual priority. Yeah. How do you guys feel about that? Most of the losses there being operational. 32 being flak. And we did have a couple whack-ins, didn't we? Yes. Yeah. I mean, this is it. It's we did knock out 33 bombers there and 1 fighter. It's just the issue is that we lost 17 doing that. Now, is that worthwhile? And the other one then. Okay. That cost us 20. I mean, we did knock out fighters, and I guess it's one of those things of... we'll have to take a look and see what we actually lost. Well, altitude will affect how effective they are in the actual attack, really. But you can imagine if you saw a whole hell of a lot of unescorted bombers down at 5,000 feet, it probably makes it a hell of a lot easier for you, really. How you doing there, Ragnar? No tanks lost as of yet. So let's go ahead and take a look at that then. This went... let me go ahead and see. Yeah, this went well over here then. So, that's where we were intercepted. So these are the remaining aircraft. So it looks like that was about here then. Yeah, that does make sense. There's a large amount of aircraft over here at Odessa. We did knock out a good few of them though. So we bombed Odessa twice. Yeah, and then we had 7 over here then. So Odessa is a big one there. We did knock out quite a few though. It was just that interception over here. These guys, I think they went down to the flak, didn't they, I believe. Let's take a look at the actual, not ground losses. Turn the turn. Exactly, man. Yeah, let's take a look here. Yeah, that was flak and that was operational. And free flak and then the operationals. Tells us, well, it tells us what we did knock out though, which is good. I don't know. What did we knock out at this base then? Was it worthwhile? 62. I mean, these are bombers. Sorry, these are fighters as well, aren't they? Okay. I guess I could live with that one then. I might try and tweak it in the future. Over here was where we did have 14 intercepted. I-16 Type 18s there. Oh, I actually do have... I need to work on the War Pacific turn, actually. I'll be sending that back later on. Okay, so those are the actual interceptions then. So we only had the 2 interceptions there. I guess I could live with that then. And that went relatively well. So how did we actually do in the end there? So... 139. 65 of those being operational. Yeah, it's the 42. Maybe we could reduce that, but I guess that's okay for now. 4,115. I would like to try and get that up into... If I could get that to about 5,000, I'd probably be happy there. 4,000 is okay, I would say. But I really would want more than that. Let's go ahead and see what we had actually lost, and that's a big question. Is this the German pool that I'm really intrigued... Well, really concerned about and intrigued to see. So, 17 BF1E2s. Yeah, those were the... Yeah, see, these were the guys that went out at range. I mean, at least they could more or less look after themselves better than like a Heinkel or something like that. Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at those 2 missions there, but in fact. I feel bad, but I've ranted for... Well, rambled for so long. Time's just gone by quickly, hasn't it? Yeah, so... Oh, no, these were the Heinkel 111s then. Okay. But they knock out 33 TB3s. SU2s there. I guess it was probably worthwhile. What did we have here then? Were these flak losses? Yeah, flak and operational. I guess I can live with that. These ones over here then. They didn't have escort, but that's predominantly down to the ranger there, really. But it might be due to the fact that I have... yeah, because, like, in the actual guide, there was an airfield over here, but that airfield's no longer here anymore. So I can't have, and I would have really preferred to have had fighters based there, so I couldn't base fighters nor aircraft or stage out from there. So that probably cost us a couple more in the way of operational. We had to have aircraft stationed out here and here, and out this way instead, really. I guess overall that's not bad, then. I can definitely live with that. I can definitely live with that. So let's go ahead and just take another look then. Yeah, I think that's generally alright. We'll go ahead and take a look at the OOB. So that takes them down to 485. Yeah, 4,854 here to begin with. 2486. Did we lose any on the patrol? Oh, how are we doing on the patrol from one day? So I get 2 there. Maybe that's not interesting. Ah, yeah, there we go. So that went along the way. Yeah, along their natural path there. Okay. That's interesting then. So if I had that go straight and they flew through here, that might be potentially superior. I'm going to have to look at that one. Might be worthwhile cancelling that one then. Let's go ahead and take a look there. So we had 1 hit by flak. Right. So we were hit by flak there. I guess that's one we could probably cancel. How did the attack on Riga go? Yeah, we knocked out everything here at Riga then for the loss of 1 then. That's not too bad. This guy over here got hit twice. Was it worthwhile hitting twice? Ah, yeah. Well, we knocked them all out. And we knocked them all out over here then. The Naval Patrol one's a little bit questionable then. I need to figure out how to best do that one. So I didn't get the interception that I needed, and I need to have at least 2 more than the Soviets, don't I? Oh, actually, did we get that? We got 1... Needed higher, really. I think we could take a look at that one, but that one could probably be cancelled, I guess. Or maybe we have it fly straight there. It does depend. I mean, if we wanted to hit ships out this way, then it worked, but... yeah, that's a learned experience then. Okay. Go ahead and turn that off. Right, so let's just take a closer look at what I actually did knock out. That's going to be quite important. So, AR-2s, U-2 transports. I wish I could click on that and actually see what model these are from here. They're quite handy. How did we do then? So, 711 pilots killed in action. Now, 66 is okay for us. Less would have been better. So it looks like we didn't lose patrols, we just lost the level bombers. And we did run reconnaissance, so we didn't really lose reconnaissance, which is at least something there. Definitely going to need them. I think that's relatively okay then. I guess I might be quibbling a little bit too much. I could probably boost that, but we'll see about that. Yeah, so moving on from that point then. Now, reconnaissance I would begin the game with over here then. Is sufficient for what we need. And I've been thinking about how we want to actually go ahead and do this, really. I'm going to go ahead and actually bring up a drawing tool. Yeah. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do is start in this area here. What I want to go for then... I don't really want to surround them, but what I want to go ahead and do is get a unit over here to make sure they can't retreat, essentially, and that they rout instead. I'm essentially going to be going for a strategy of, rather than surrounding the enemy and forcing them to surrender the turn after, I'd rather have them rout and then have them just essentially trapped in the larger pocket anyway. I think that's how I'd go for it, really. But what I'm going to go ahead and go through then is just theatres. I know there are a number of places where we can... oh yeah, there we go, that's part of the mod there. Yeah. Are they... Ah, but in Finland, I do believe, in fact. Oh, no, there we are. Yeah, so on... the turn here, we'd want to go ahead and bring these guys over to the map. Now, these are a delayed detachments. You can go ahead and have them attached to a core, and that will allow you to actually repair rail hexes with those guys, which is super, super great. Very handy. I think we have some in Finland, perhaps. I guess I must have been thinking of Norway. Are there any others? Because they are very valuable. No, they may be the only ones that are free. Would they come under here as their own? Likely not. Okay. Right then. So really, what I want to go ahead and take a look at here then is how we wanting to pull this off. How do we want to do this? So I do have 269 there. There's going to be a number of important divisions in this area. 30th is a very interesting one, and the fact that it does have higher morale to begin with, which is very good. Now, from what I understand of core headquarters as well, if you don't move them, their support elements can actually aid in hasty attacks as well. If you move them, I believe it's only deliberate attacks, so they can actually aid in, but I could be wrong on that one. 17,000 men, my gosh. Yes. And I think as well, if you have 10 to 1 odds, you can do this without having the combat delay. But that's not quite good enough there, is it? Now, if I went for a deliberate, we definitely have those 10 to 1 odds there. Ooh, that one there we could probably do as a hasty attack then. What I'm kind of thinking of doing here then, because, and again, because I didn't run reconnaissance, we don't have as much information as we would do ideally. But we can see that these are regiments and brigades, so they're inflicting a +3 MPs under control. We do have a division here that's +4. I think that is a regiment or brigade of some nature as well. So what I'm thinking I might go ahead and do here then, so we do have 30th Division under the 10th Corps. 10th Corps there. We want to go ahead and actually move around support elements too, but I think that'd have to come in the future there, really. In 1942, the Jones had a 10k man oil facility repair unit. Now, the way that it works regarding the oil facilities is it's a little bit abstracted with that. When the Axis capture industry, the only thing that you can actually make use of is oil and resources. That's about it, really. So it's a shame, but that is them's the breaks. So I suppose what it does is essentially abstract that. So obviously you do have the oil production, so you can have that repaired, and obviously manned. It does take some effort to have it repaired, but you can imagine that it would have that 10,000 man unit actually allocated to it then. Right. So what I'm going to go ahead and do then, so we have 100 combat potential here to begin with, combat preparation I should say. What I'm going to go ahead and do then, I'm just going to just experiment with this really. I always start with the north because this is generally where you wish to be. Now they have 16 in the way of mobility, they'd have to cross a river though, which is a problem. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. So we have river crossing there for them. What I could potentially do then is, we have the river there, but if I move there we don't. Is there any way I can attack that without having to deal with the river? No, so that's what makes that position a little bit annoying then. But I'd like to see if I could just completely ignore it if I could, but I don't think I have the opportunity. I think I'd have to use units in this area here. 16, so everybody's really good to go in terms of mobility. That's a very good division at 28. See, ordinarily I'd start with units towards the rear, but I can actually make use of the administrative movement while I'm in here. At least being on the front line, they don't waste any MP. Yeah, I think I'm going to go for that then, so we'd have that there. So I think this would be the first attack over here then for the most part. I don't have any ground support anyway, but I'm going to go ahead and just turn that off. I'll make that a deliberate attack and we'll see how that goes. Ideally it's a route. Yeah, that surrenders in that route. Obviously very low losses there, which is fine. We do have combat delay, god damn it. I was kind of hoping that we wouldn't. So, hasty attack there. Yeah, there we go, they surrender. Okay. Now, still have quite a bit of MP there. So you can see over here that if I was to go ahead and cross that river, that being a major river, we'd go from 11 to 8. Over here we have 10. What do we have here then? Heavy woods is a bit of a nasty one. In theory they could win that battle, but I don't really want to throw them across a major river and into heavy woods with 25 and 34. The unit itself, the division itself is fine, but yeah, again, that's not particularly great. So something that we could potentially do here then is have it move through. You can see how mobility changes here. Now, I do have this division here. It's not ideal. I really want to break this open here so I can move through where I was under control. I'm not going to get that perfect. Okay. So 10 there. They could attack this unit over here then. I'm not too sure if it's entirely, if it's just NKVD. Or I could have them actually perform a hasty attack. They'd be able to beat that, then they could move there and hit them. And in reality, the objectives I need then are Riga. And these objectives out here then. Do I still have the information regarding their depots? I think I have to press N. No, okay, so that's something that I need to look at during the actual, before the turn resolves then, that's fine. But essentially they have depots at a number of locations, where I'll go ahead and do vendors. We'll use this as a practice, and in the future we'll look and make sure to specify where the depots are. Well, generally we have a couple of them. No, I was hoping I could see the depots there. Yeah, we'll have to do that before the turn resolution then. That's fine, there's a few things I might want to actually go ahead and alter there. So let's go ahead and take a look at this then. So, if I want to go that way, that'd be 8. So that's not really worthwhile. So what I could potentially go ahead and do then is have them attack there. We own that hex there, which is good. And this is a 269 above on morale, which is handy. Attached to the motorized course, they actually do have a bonus there, which is handy. How's that guy? 7, he's good. They have artillery. Yeah, that's going to be a big thing as well, is getting the support units properly allocated. So I'll go ahead and make that a deliberate attack. Now, surrendered and routed, that's good. Low losses. What was the actual numbers then? In actuality. Yeah, that was definitely an overrun. But, overkill works. Okay. Now, this is what I'm looking for. So essentially over in this area we've opened this zone. I could obviously then attack this and have them moved out, and then move around these units and then attack them. Is what I wanted to do there, really. How to do it best. I think we'd have to come round this way. This division there, having to cross that river's not ideal. Again, this is just going to be a big learning exercise. I could move them there, get that. That may be worthwhile to actually have force a surrender there, spare them, but I still have to deal with this division here anyway. Now, it's an intriguing one, really. These rivers don't help all that much. Yeah. I think the best... damn, it's difficult with the swamp, but the swamp's not too bad in actual leg infantry. We'll go ahead and get that up. There we are. We'll go towards the back and find that. Okay. So I'm looking for the train. Oh, that's also good to bear in mind here regarding priority. Actually, let's go ahead and take a quick look at that, because priority is something that can actually kill you. Yeah, so it's like, for example, if you set everything to 4, you're kind of screwing yourself. So you can see there, this can be up to 110%, so try to actually stockpile. So they will take more than they need, which can cause problems. So generally, most units are going to be on about a 2. About 2, really. 3 is about out. Well, this is it. 3 is good, don't get me wrong. But yeah, 2 is sufficient. 2 is very much sufficient. Sure, at 70% there. Or up to 70%. That one there at 1 is at 50%. Which, for the most part, is fine. It depends really what the situation is. But you can have a lot of your units actually at 1 and you're going to be okay. Try to avoid 4. 4 really is for... Yeah, for that core, or indeed that army if you can afford it. That is geared towards assaulting something. And you're building them up behind the front lines and then you unleash the offensive there, really. That's something to bear in mind. Okay. Right. Wish there was a sidebar there, like with PDF. Oh well. Be here. Maybe not. I'm gonna go ahead and just go up here then. It's a big manual. It is a little bit difficult as well because things are definitely changing still. How many airfields in range did you not attack? Yeah, we'll take a look at that now. We'll take a look at that. I mean, this is it. I'm okay. I'm happy enough with the actual airstrikes. Well, the air attack. I'd like to up that if I can. I think I'll probably cancel naval patrol or maybe alter it somewhat. Altering it could probably make it work. I just need to have enough in that particular area to make that work. God, this is a big manual. Alright, movement costs. That's what I was looking for. Terrain and tactical. Yeah, there we are. Right, swamp. Yeah, so swamp is 2 MP then. Obviously, if you have the roads, that definitely does help. But we can expect they're free then if we don't have roads. So if we go ahead and take a look over here then. Now we have roads over here, so that'll take us to the wrong one. That will take us to 2, which is okay. Generally, I can live with that. You don't really want to have your motorized units move through swamps there. So 2 MP I could live with, I guess. It's not very expensive. Let's take a look over here then. Light woods. Clear terrain there. This being clear terrain out here is pretty nice. In fairness, what I could potentially go for then is a envelopment move like that. As long as they don't have anywhere... Yeah, as long as... if they're cut off and then they're attacked and they're forced to... Well, they rout. That works. I could go for a swamp. It's not that bad, but I would like to try and avoid it. Okay. I don't think they'd have that distance there. These swamps over here do not help me. So I could go that way. How does light woods affect it? Forest. Yeah, so forest is the same, like light woods, light forest, that sort of thing. Yeah, just consider woods here. I guess I can't get out of that one. So it's not that expensive for infantry then, I guess you could say. 16. The 16 is real, the one I want to keep. So I think what I'm going to go ahead and do then is I'm going to move the 30th here. Now, they can still deliberate attack, which is good. They still have a lot of MP in fairness. Is a cross-river attack, which is not exactly ideal. It'd be intriguing just to see if I carried on there, but I guess it's not going to do me all that much good. I think I could get away with that. I mean, I know I can win it. I'm just trying to think of how I can make it work just to the best of the ability of the unit, really. Even when we had more than 10 times the odds, it didn't stop the delay. So I've got that to bear in mind. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and try a haste attack. It should be manageable. Yeah, surrendered and shattered. Yeah, you can see we had the artillery spot there. Okay. That didn't use up... And we actually don't have the combat delay there. Okay, fair enough. So move forward. They could haste attack that. There we are. Okay. This is actually going a hell of a lot better than I anticipated. I'm not going to lie, I didn't think I would have this division actually viable at this point now. Okay. Right, wow, that's really handy. Because what I could... Yeah, okay, cool. That went well. That went very well. So... See then, moving through there is not ideal. I could move there, I could move up this way. I could of course go forward, but I'm going to go through force, which is going to obviously stop me there. If I go here, I may have an opportunity to attack, but I'm not going to have much. There's something to be said for having that unit just return to our own lines, actually to the administrative area. They'd actually have a benefit to being able to recover them. But we'll hold that there for now then. It could come in handy. So what do we have here? Clear terrain. Okay. That's handy then. It's handy enough. Need to get out this way. Now, if I knock these guys out of the way, I can actually have control of the road then. That, yeah, if these are out of the way, I can manage that quite handedly. So I need Riga, but Riga can be done fairly easily. Well, relatively easily. There's not all that much out this way, which is making the best use of the infantry. I do want to be out this way. Objectives turn 1 are going to be essentially secure Riga, secure Minsk. I do want to take this area if I can, and if I can be as close to Pskov as possible, that'd be excellent. Essentially, the path that we're going to be taking then is... So, I need Riga, so we'll go to Riga. If I could do it without... yeah, I'm going to have to use some motorized element, I'd imagine. One, perhaps... Two, probably two to make sure it happens. Less would be better. But the main thrust is going to be up this way. That's where we need to be there. I think what I might go ahead and do then, because it does depend here really. Because I could have the panzers go this way. I think we can take Minsk with just a second panzer group. At least a corps from over here then. This is 3rd Panzer if I remember correctly. So I think at least a corps from 3rd Panzer could come this way perhaps. We'd have to see about that. That probably would secure that. I mean, ideally I want to be as far up this road as I can be to try and secure Smolensk in turn 2, really. So these are all the little moves that we need to make this happen. If I could get through this area here without having... Yeah, and as well, I'm not interested in having these units forced to surrender the turn after. I really want them out of the way as quickly as possible so I can just move up there. Now, how to make that happen is going to be the question. There's a certain number of depots out this way that I would have to show turn 1 again to actually show. But they are definitely there, and taking them out is a good idea. So which way do I want to go here? So I could go there, cross the river and have free. But at least free, and I'm attacking them without the actual river crossing penalty. I think that might be worthwhile, but I'm going to go ahead and see what we can do down here then. So I've got clear terrain there. That I do not know the strength of. I wish I'd actually had the first turn up, because I don't know what it is right now. I didn't run reconnaissance, so there you go, you can see how that's working out. Right. Having forts would be a good idea too. That could be a smaller unit. I feel like it's likely a smaller one. So what I need to do then is go onto this road over here. I don't think they could cross there. I just have the panzers there, so I'd have to attack that way. That's fine. Again, these units are really built up for the first turn, which is really good. That could be a small unit. Damn, I wish I had... if I had the first turn, that'd be really helpful right now. Well, sorry, the information from the first turn to see the actual units here, that'd be great, but oh well. That rough terrain sucks. It could very much just be the case I have to attack that position there. But we'll see. I just need a way around here then just to... Because what I need to do is I need to cut these units off over here, then I can attack them freely. Force them to rout, then I don't have to deal with them. So obviously we'll surround them anyway by moving out this way. I just don't want to waste units by having to pen them in, really. Right, let's take a look then. So over here then, I have 128th Division. Even a haste attack would be considered enough, which is good. We have 5th Corps over here then, so I don't think we'd have any issues regarding against support units in there. Morale, 78, 79. That morale's really effing good. That's clear terrain, and that is like woods. What I'm going to go ahead and do then is use the 35th Division. That's at 78, that's 79. Yeah, I'll use the 35th Division here then. Made that deliberate attack. Right, they retreat. I did want to rout, to be honest. I'm going to take a risk and make that a hasty attack. Okay, yeah, that was worthwhile. Right, 11-11. That looks like another small unit, so again I'll hasty attack that. Yeah, there we are. Right, so I have the road here, and I have the road here, which is fine by me. If I move here, I'm not dealing with the zone of control from that. I'm not too sure what it is. What is it? That could very well be a MG. So I'll move there. Yeah, it is. Okay. And we'll deliberate attack. Yeah, right, so that routes that. So they run out of MP now. I can attack that, which I could. I'll do that then. Right, that forces that to surrender. And, oh, actually I do have a little bit more MP there. Was the zone of control. That's the thing as well that you've got to bear in mind. It's like +3. Even units like that still inflict zone of control. Okay, we do have... bloody... combat delay, but that's okay. Can surrender that. Okay. So I don't have enough now to cross the river. But this is where this could come in handy then, really. Yeah, even with the roads, it's still swamps, so that still adds up there. But that works out relatively well. It's a shame I can't move it back that bit, but that's okay. Okay. So I think what we'd likely do at this point then... So I can have these divisions go this way, but because of the swamp over here, they're going to find themselves pretty heavily delayed. I need information over here. I'm not going to have much with this actual division, so I'm going to move there. Have them surrender... Yeah, capitulate that unit there. Okay. See how that helps considerably with the zone of control now? So I can move there. Notice it's 12, 9, Oh, that could be dealt with. Apparently easily enough. I'll try that with a hasty. Yeah, there we are. Okay, excellent. That division's a real MVP here. that's a real MVP. Holy moly. God damn, they did well. Like, I thought I would have to use both divisions, and I really didn't, so... such is the power of a turn 1. Okay, and then really what I'm looking towards doing then is just having these guys cut off. So I'll go that way. There we are. Can't quite get that. I just wonder if I go there with that hex. I can't guarantee it. I hate these decisions because if I go there, I would have to then spend 2 MP, but I've got to make sure. I think that would get that. But if I take that, it would definitely get that. But I'm going to go ahead and take a risk. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I forgot about that side. So that works there. So then what I could do at this point is use these forces over here just to attack these guys and just get rid of them, essentially. Ah, there we go. So they retreat in there. I can deal with that, though. So it needs to be tighter then, that's fine. I do want to avoid combat delay. That's the only bloody problem with that. Okay. Would I have enough for a hasty attack? I don't think I don't know. I may have enough for a deliberate attack though. Yeah, I do. Okay. I need to look up how it works. I think essentially you just... I think maybe we have to have them with no room. No room to escape. I think that's how it needs to go then. Okay. So with that one there, they had room to escape. Well, at least room to retreat rather than just routing them. So I think that's what I need to do then. Okay. There we are. That's what you call for learning. So I can see we can deal with this area quite easily then. And then obviously be able to swing out that way. Now... what do we have there? Just an anti-tank brigade. Yeah, there we are. Routes the unit and we take the city there. Very easily, really. Okay. Now, if I move there, then I'm going to have MP enough. This is 16 farmers that go north anyway. If I move there, it doesn't particularly help me, but it would help potentially with closing the pocket, but I don't think it makes a difference. What do I actually get in the city then? That's a decent amount. It's damage though. This would be one that we'd want to have repaired pretty quick. I guess it's one of those where it doesn't make that much difference. If I go there, captures that hex, I could see that we have 0 there. Let's see what's there then. So we find ourselves greeted by the mechanized. If I had enough MP, I could have attacked that, but hey ho. Right. So learned a lesson there. Okay. So we'll go a deliberate there. 6.7 should be able to manage that. Yeah. Okay, so then I can move this way. So I've got 8 there or 8 there. I've got 7 there. Priority of rail lines. Now, let's go ahead and just clear that off over here then. The rail lines that we prioritize then are... So we have that one that goes to Kaunas. We really follow the double rail line. That's essentially where we go. Over here to Vilnius. However you want to pronounce that. And then likelihood would be that way. But there's something to be said about that way, because obviously we do have the Minsk line. But that does take some time, so maybe going that way could help out. Because we do have Riga over here with the port, we have that port, we have that port. They don't come into operation immediately. But they are there. Obviously capturing the cities do help to an extent too. It depends really. So this is Lithuania. And that's Belarus. Yeah, so I'd want to go this line. The reason being there is a conversion special rule, which we'll go ahead and take a look at. There we are. Yeah, it's easier to convert lines in that area. I'll go ahead and just type in Control F, turn 1. There we are, special turn 1 rules. I think the conversion one is a different one, but we'll take a look at that shortly. I do apologise for this being a boring stream. I know they're all boring in fairness, but like, I know this one's particularly boring. It's just going through the motions and becoming more familiar with things, really. Right, okay. Yeah, these provided... Right, some of the rules above may be suspended. Have they been changed? Oh, here we are. No? May have to take a look at the normal manual there. So... Right, these provide a movement bonus for the Axis units attacking to the Baltic states and Belarus. It's not Ukraine. Okay. When moving your units, these costs will be calculated for you. We may find that similar units such as the same hex have paid to cost due to the rules. More widely, German units cannot move into Hungary or Romania. Yeah, that's going to be a thing as well, is that we avoid triggering Lvov. So we're not going to trigger Lvov and the southern front there in Nizhny. I just need to take a look at which hexes we need to avoid doing so there. Okay. How you doing there, Sarge? I tend to get anal. I enjoy the analness of it all, really. How you doing there, Cranium? Oh, that's good there, Salty. I mean, I'm a little bit... I feel a little bit anxious, which is probably why I'm, like, being a bit weird. Because I feel like I'm boring people, and I feel like this is probably not a stream that people want to see, but I feel like it's important to go through and understand, at least for my own benefit, but obviously if I'm gaining benefit, then maybe others will gain benefit there. So let's go ahead and actually get the proper manual up. I might be able to see the information I need there. The only thing is, it is... that's a printer-friendly one, which is not the most attractive one. I do hope that they do come out with a revised manual, but I can imagine they probably never will. But I don't know, it's the ebook they can update, I would hope. So let's go ahead and take a look there. So, turn 1. Where we're looking, yeah, special turn 1 rules. Okay. Right, so that's the hex of there, I believe. Right. Move south or east of Lvov. Is that trigger hex is 187, 187. How you doing there soon? Oh, man. Ah, that's good there, though. Right, okay. Oh, here we go. Possible combat outcomes. I think this is the one I'm looking for, actually. Not on this one, but for the earlier. If the defender had no valid retreat path, but was not isolated at the start of the turn, then retreat will come around. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm looking for, essentially. I'm glad we actually found this part. So that's what I'm trying to do here on the first turn. So, yeah, if a defender had no valid retreat path, but was not isolated at the start of the turn, then retreat will come around. That's what I'm looking for, essentially. So, all of these units along this line, just really in general, I want to route all of these units. Now, know that these guys are over here, and obviously some of them are moved out these ways. What I really want to try and do then is have the routed units trapped in here. That would be ideal. I think when it comes to routes, I think if they're unable to move, like if they have this over here, then I don't think they can move into this area beyond here, like if we have these hexes here. But I'm not entirely sure about that one. So I think when it comes down to it, what I would be better off doing then is moving the units up this way. I do want to try and minimize this under control impact upon those units. So while the infantry will move first, not always. Some things will move, like some motorized will move before the infantry moves. 50 there, 50 there. Tononkov is very good. Well, that's true there, soon. That's a very good point, fairness. that's well said. That's well said. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and have the 269 fab. It's a little bit rough because they are at 12 and at 18. There's some damaged elements here to division, but not too bad. Oh, something I think I would do as well is probably not have panzer units sent to the reserve. More so, just probably sent to a safer area of the map. And use depots to try and build them up, perhaps. We'll have to try and figure our way through that one. But it's, That's a tough one, really. The reason why I'm not so keen on sending them to reserves, per se, is when it comes to their TOE. They'll surely get the guns and etc. It's more so the panzers. But no, actually. It's going to depend, really. No, I think we'll probably go with reserve, because I'm thinking about it now. Yeah, reserve. So I think essentially what happens when it comes to damaged panzers, and just swapping to panzers, yeah, okay. If I go ahead and take a look over here, then. Like, for example, we have the Panzer 2C and the Panzer 2A. The Panzer 2A is... Actually, I thought it had a... I was going to say, it's only got a machine gun, but it actually has a 20mm, so at least that's pretty decent. Yeah, but essentially, I believe what happens is when they're on a depot, you can have new tanks actually arrive via the freight as replacement. I'm going to have to take those rules. But I believe you pay a cost as well for damaged panzers to be sent back. I think that's how it works. So I think essentially you're paying twice the cost of a... I think it's like the low cost is calculated when the tank is sent back as well, but I have to double check that. But I think if they're out in the field, it's harder for them to swap tanks, like swap models of tanks. But I have to take a look at the rules of that. I do like these guys, though. We could have more reconnaissance tanks, or just more tanks in general, that'd be great. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at the rules regarding AFV swapping and repairs. I think it's something of that nature, but I could be completely wrong and talking out my ass. We're talking a lot about asses here lately. What an ass. Or a donkey of a man. Right, I've got 26 there. They don't have the 1 MP there. You can see really, you've got to be quite wise in how you spend these units. How you utilize them, because I can move over here and I'm going to have to bloody cross a river there, which you can see the major river does take a lot of MP. But if I go this way, I'm not really gaining anything over here. I'd be better off using a unit down here that could at least make use of the roads, perhaps. But yeah, it's not particularly easy, but mostly it's going to be motorized units going this way. So I could go that way, and I think I'd be better off saving that unit then. This guy has 9 MP remaining, but I might as well use him over here. So we'll go with that then. Deliberate attack that. Ooh, son of a bitch. Hopefully I have enough left over, and I should do. And... yeah, there we are. That went relatively well. That could have gone worse. But that worked out relatively well enough. We do have one combat delay there, but the combat delays are here now. And I should be able to move through here. Now, the only issue is I need to avoid this hex like the plague with motorized units. But that's difficult. So I've got the light woods over here anyway. That's going to zap MP. So I want these guys out of the way so I can make use of that, but then I still have the 2 combat delay and the 1 combat delay here. So not super fab. So if we go back to the manual, and I'm going to take a look at that Panzer thing shortly enough, in fact. I need to remember what page these guys are on. Let's see. Yeah, road movement. Yeah, swamps just it's not good. it's not good. I'd probably be better off just going through zone of control than going through the swamp hacks, really. I think that probably would apply less penalty there, really. Like, what do you guys think? These spam messages are getting very weird. Seems to be a thing on YouTube as of late. How weird. Okay. Yeah, so that too there's rough, but if I go through the forest, so let's go ahead and double check that. I meant to check that, and I got distracted by that bot there. So, light forest. Right, forest. Oh god, forest is bad. That's bad. Yeah, they do. We actually do have those amphibious tanks around Brest-Litovsk, actually. Yeah, there we go. So we actually do have the amphibious panzers over here, the Touch Panzer 4. Which is a really cool detail. How you done that, Paul? I'm running this on a 2K monitor, and this is being streamed at 1440p. I don't know why Dojo doesn't do his in HD. I want to moan at him about that, but I think in fairness it might be due to the Californian internet it has. Well, it seems cursed with. Yeah, so this is like HD and then more HD. I've seen a lot of a spam there soon. I've seen a lot of that. I've seen it in dojos. I've seen it on a lot of different streams as of late, really, which is kind of weird. Yeah, I think we only have those amphibious panzers in that area there, actually. Yeah, we got 16 there. 26 there, none there. Here, yeah, okay. I'm going to assume that this is where we have the majority of them in these divisions here, then. If I go ahead and take a look in the actual production. So we'll go to German. But thank you, Paul. That's really good, actually. I'm glad that people have actually noticed a difference in... well, not between different content creators, but just the general difference in having the new monitor. That's nice. Let's go over here then. Am I at the bottom of the list? Oh, I'm at the bottom of the list. Just feels like I'm not. That could be better bar. The chassis over here. Yeah, it just feels like I'm missing out on something here, but I think it's because the bar's there. Yeah, okay. Why does it not let me go all the way down? Whoa. There we are. I think that may be some sort of scaling issue there, but I'll have to look at that. It doesn't matter all that much. Chassis don't matter too much now. Right, anyway. Panzer. So that's production filter on, so I want production filter off. Active pool. Yeah, there we go. So we have Touch Panzer 3 and 3G. We also do have a Touch Panzer 4. Where am I looking here? Medium tank. Oh, they're close support tanks, aren't they? Yeah, there we are. Now, those guys aren't produced, as you can see. So we won't actually build them. Yeah. Don't produce that many tanks there. Produce a decent amount of Panzer 3Js, and I do like me a good Panzer 3. And the actual Panzer 3 is actually underrated, in my opinion. That 110 is actually pretty good. I'd have to see how it compares versus... I'd have to look and see how it works with the interaction between versus armor and the actual armor of like enemy tanks that they're hitting, but it's actually pretty reasonable. We've got the F model here, which is again 110. How's the 38T? 73 there. Got the P2 here. Let's go to 47. I love these French tanks. I do love this model with the pictures, in fact. 86. Yeah, that 2-pounder gun is actually pretty good too. 115 there with the 47 mil. So it actually does put the Panzer III-J in a pretty good light there. Yeah, with that 50 mil L42 there, so that's pretty good. Where is our Panzer IV-F? Now it has, yeah, it's got the 75 mil there. That's pretty damn good, but only 74 there. So it's really the Panzer III that is a workhorse now. I mean, this is it. I mean, it obviously makes sense if you guys obviously know. Then, yeah, it really is the Panzer III that is a workhorse. Obviously, that'll change in the near future. If I turn production filter off, and if we go through then, so we have the Panzer III-E. Yeah. So you can see these are the ones that are producing here, because you can see there's not the asterisk there. Asterisk. I can't believe say asterisk. I love that picture. Right. I'm not seeing the later models here. I'm not seeing the Panzer III-N or M, so I think they come later on then. They do have a pretty big role to play, but anyway, we'll take a look then. Here with the production filter. Shows you the value of artillery. Like, if I go ahead and select the 250 is one that we see quite often. So that doesn't have versus armor. Ah, okay, so artillery of that nature doesn't have it then. Okay. That's fine. Field gun does, however. And that's 208. Medium field gun. That's an interesting distinction then, isn't it? 75. Yeah, that 132. The Pack 38 actually is like... It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I've got the 105 flak guns over here, but I doubt we'll see them often. And yeah, you really get an idea of why the 88 was so good versus armor. Because it has that 152 there, it has that range, it has that damn accuracy. That's good. I recall accuracy is the range at which, like, I think at 1800 yards they have a 50% chance to hit, essentially. Okay. How about the light artillery then? Okay, so that does that. Is it just heavy artillery in general then? Seems so. Yeah, I know right there, Georgie. That's a cool picture though, I'd love that one. How about the rockets though? Yeah, the rockets don't have it either then. Okay. Mortars? Right, they don't seem to have it. That's a cool mortar. You know, I'm actually not familiar with the German heavy mortars. I've not often seen them, so that's pretty cool to see there. Okay. Yeah, so essentially what we need to take care in picking then is the support units that we actually have with us. And take a look at the actual TOEs and just recognizing that. Interesting enough, we do have some Panzer Grenadiers to begin with, which is cool. I don't imagine we have many of them. Are they just built into the actual Panzer divisions then? Yes, they're just into the actual Panzer divisions here to begin with. It's an interesting one. We don't have exact information on how the combat model works, but you can kinda... the Carl Gustav. No, the rail guns are not factored in, unfortunately. They're in TSWW. Like, you actually have counters for them. But they don't kind of work... I don't know, I'm going to have to look in how they work. Okay, so we take a look over here, then. So we've got that 26 there. Sorry, 16. They all have mobility, which is good. What I'm going to go ahead and do, then, is use the 290 from the 54th Corps there. Yeah, the difficulties I know... I'm going to have to go through the, like, woods there. I don't think I can avoid that. At least with the actual... road, it does help out to a degree. You can really see the value in the good road over here. Like, this good road really, really matters a whole hell of a lot. Whole hell of a lot. Okay. So we'll go ahead and have that move over there. And that's interesting. Okay. But I will get rid of them. And my day has been ruined. I've heard that a few times. I can't remember what show it's from now. Okay, so this is a point at which I could actually move on here. It's interesting because I could go that way. I could have that unit. I'm going to have to really think about how I go with this strategy of forcing them to routes. I just need to make sure they have no room to retreat into. So I could go that way and then across. And I think I will do. I'm gonna stick with this strategy there, really. Oh, I was hoping it'd take that hex there, which is why I went there. So it's not gonna do that. Oh wow. That's an incredible experience there, Paul. I can't say I'd want to join in that experience. Okay. Yes, we are learning here then. But these guys would now route. And I'm going to have to think about how I want to do this then, really. There's certain divisions that we want to force to route then, like the infantry divisions. Like that one would be a good one to try and route. That's a pretty far away call. Oh, you're attached to the army, that's why. Oh, that's strange then. I can just have you attached to that core then immediately. Oh, you have those support units. I do love me some bicycle reconnaissance squads though. The fact is, they actually they have the SMG, which is nice. We've got the LMG there. 10 men. I love that picture. That's a cool picture. Let's see. Yeah. That's a very cool picture. Ah, there we go. So the infantry guns do have their value there. You know what, George? We can arrange for that. We can arrange for it. We can make that dream come true. Right, so we'll go ahead and hasty attack that. Now, I am going to pay for the zone of control here, but if I get around these guys, we can force them to rout. If only I had a little bit more there. Right, so I'm going to go here then. And then there. I'm not going to attack with that division there. I'm going to instead use a division down this way. But I do want to have a division that can march that way. So maybe it's best to use that division there then. They're within range of their headquarters, so that's fine. I could probably get away with that being a hasty attack in fairness at this point now. These units look to be smaller. I'm going to go ahead and try and make that a hasty attack. They are a beefier division due to the fact that they have the 80 morale there. And they also do have these attached units, which is pretty good. Yeah, promises, promises. I do love me the motors. Yeah, these motorized machine gun battalions are just amazing, in my opinion. Really, really like those guys. The fact that you can have all of that additional well, just anti-man versus man, anti-soft, whatever you want to call it, soft attack is freaking fantastic. It just makes such a big difference there. Really like those guys. I know I go on about it every time. But it's the fact that you have only 4 men here, but you have it at LMG, so it's a lot of bang for your buck. You also have the rifles there, which are nice, but yeah, just they're so good. So good. The accuracy there, so at 750 yards, I've got 50% chance of hitting them, no matter what. I believe is how you interpret that. Which is good. Very good. You can see that's 3 times out of a rifle. Makes a big old difference. And what's quite cool is they actually do come with the AT guns in here too, so you actually get a really nice unit. Like, I really love those guys. They do have the AT rifles, which are only 40, but they're still useful. You can definitely use those to take out armored cars and things of that nature. And by the way, I do like this GUI mod because that's pretty cool. I can understand why they don't have it in the game officially, but yeah, I mean, this is it. I mean, we are pretty much aware of who we're playing as right now. Obviously, we don't have to deal with the horrific aspects of that. Yeah, anti-personnel. Thanks there, Paul. Sometimes I can't speak. Oh, okay, so I paid the price on that one. My hubris is felt. That should have been a deliberate attack, but I've learned a lesson there. Goddamn, where's that tank division? Oh my. Ooh, okay. I got a little bit screwed on that one then, by being a bit Gung Ho. Ah, fuck, I didn't mean to do that either. Ah, fuck me, I fucked that one up. Okay. So for that one division there, I managed to make every mistake possible. Don't do what I did there. Thank God this is... Don't do that. It's not good. Don't do it. Oh, those are probably pretty simple to make. But I can't speak. Why can't I not speak? Okay. So I could have done that a little bit more efficiently there. Probably. Okay. So I've learned a few lessons there, really. So there's not all that much over here, then, to actually concern ourselves with. Yeah, so what we had there was a rifle division. So I... MG. Okay, then. So we had a rifle division there. That was the same rifle division, wasn't it? Yeah, the 90th. Okay. Okay, then. So I think effectively, then, what I could go ahead and do, then, what I'll do in the future, then, is... We know it's a division that's... Well, I've changed colour there. That looks different. Okay. And we know it's a division here, then. That looks really different. Why does that look so... Oh, that's why. It's because it's this one. Okay, it's a highlighter. I was going to say that looks strange. Almost like a salmon bone, or like a, oh, what do you call it now? You know when you're going ahead and you like buy crab pate? What do you call it now? Like crab spread, something like that. Yeah, it kind of looks like that. Yeah, so learn a lesson. Then we have like a division here. Then now there's also a division there. Right. Okay. So what would we change here, then? We also did have the division there. I think it was there as well, wasn't it? Oh no, it might have been there too. I forget which one it was now. So how would I go about changing that then? I guess what we could have done then is when that division moved up this way, because all I need to do is just make sure the division doesn't have anywhere to retreat to. These other guys don't really matter because they just surrender anyway. So if I was to attack that unit there with the division that... well, actually, no, this is it, isn't it? It begins over there, doesn't it? No, it doesn't. It begins there. I guess what we could do is attack that, then go around. If I have another unit there, and then I would have that under control, then attack. That route there. Yeah. It doesn't matter all that much. Okay. But I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the Panzer thing I was talking about. I want to take a look at that. Let's go ahead and see then. AFV... That's AFC. AFV replacement. Would it be something of that nature? No? AFV is going to be featured a lot. So what you're saying, George, is when the barrel's hot, you grip it with both hands tightly to change it. That's what I'm getting here. Right. Present. Okay. Maybe if I type swap, would that be it? No. Swap. Nope. Wait a minute. Here we go. Yeah, this is what I was looking for. See, I'm not just bullshitting. Generally, I'll kind of know what I'm on about, but usually I just not have the actual ability to say what I'm on about. And, yeah, I'm showcasing that right now. Okay. So ground elements may change to different ground elements of the same or a different type during the ground element segment of the player's logistic phase. In the upgrade sub-segment, the ground element may upgrade in accordance with its upgrade path as listed in the ground element detail window. Okay, yep. It may also downgrade to older equipment if this will fulfill its table of equipment needs. Many upgrades will remain with the same ground elements, the rifle squad, medium tank, blah blah blah, but some will result in a change of type, such as maybe using a light tank destroyer in place of a light tank, which is actually pretty interesting. I love gripping hot barrels. Well, I mean, that's what I've been told, man. That's what I've been told. Just can't stop grabbing those cannons. Just explosions. Oh, dear. Okay, that makes me laugh too much. In the swap sub-segment, the computer may change out ground elements. Okay. Right. So not necessarily along the upgrade-downgrade path. Priority will be given to new equipment. Yeah, that's kind of what I was like alluding to earlier on. For example, a Panzer IV-G is a medium tank ground element, which upgrades to Panzer IV-H and downgrades to Panzer IV F2. However, Panzer IV-G ground elements may be changed out to another medium tank such as Panzer III-LJ, L60, depending on the availability of the medium tank equipment. So this is really what I want to be taking a look at. So I believe that the downgrades and the swaps, I think, can occur if the vehicle's damaged. I could be wrong. Alright. We're going to have to take a look at how damaged are affected. So TOE upgrades, okay. Come on, George, can't you just carry around like a bottle of like liquid nitrogen? Oh man, that'd be amazing. Oh man, okay, that's another suggestion for a new weapon of warfare alpha. That's a new one. I hope nobody reads this chat. Okay, so all AFVs and other combat vehicles are rated for their reliability. Let's just check when they are moved with their blah blah blah. This is why you really want to move them when you have any and all opportunities across road. So that check is made. Right. Reliability is going to be something we'll have to take greater notice of, but not that much we can do about it. So, the first digit represents the reliability of the AFV when moving. If only one digit is shown, first digit seems to be 0. The higher the number, the less likely the AFV. Okay. So let's take a look then. So reliability there. See, this is where learning what these numbers actually mean is really important. So we have 655 there. 655... Sorry, 6550. The Panzer IV-E. 6550. The second digit is survivability. So we have a reliability of 6. We have a survivability of 5. The higher the survivability, the less likely the AFV will be destroyed in combat during a special survival check as opposed to just being damaged. So this is where this really comes in handy. Okay. So the Panther over here then. Not seeing... Oh, there we go, reliability. So reliability of the Panther then is a 4, and its survivability is a 5. I guess that's due to the time it comes in. Perhaps, I'm not too sure. Okay. Doesn't tell you what these other numbers mean. Or does it? Yeah, just 6.5. Oh! Oh, I get it. Right, there we go. Is there a slash? Yeah, I just realised that, isn't it? Panzer IV has the... Yeah, there we go. I just realised there, Null. Thank you. You may have looked like an idiot there for a few seconds, but I got it there in the end. But thank you very much. Otherwise, I might not have realised that. But I did get there in the end. I did get there in the end. That's okay. Why the fuck do they have 2 more numbers that just fooled us? That's good to know. That's... I need to... Actually, no, I can see through here. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, the Panzer 38 T-Ven is really reliable. Not so survivable. That rhymes. So, yes. So we have the Panzer IV E. Reliability is actually okay. 65, 50... Survivability? Yeah, 70... So that does kind of have an impact on the units we'd move as well. Well, if we had these guys, we'd sure use them. I mean, it's a lot of armor. It is a lot of armor. So it looks like reliability is an interesting thing. 70. It's about 70 looks the best that we have there. Okay. I imagine the touchpads are maybe even less than. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but 6550. 6550. Ooh, look at these guys. Panzer IV D there, 128, 174. Oh, it's the same gun. It's just a different picture. I was fooled by the picture. Yeah, 65. Okay. Now if we go over here... I'm not seeing the later models, am I? Oh no, I wasn't wrong. This is just the previous model then, it seems. Oh no, there's the F. Cool. Yeah, so 6550. That's very good to know then. So if we compare that, let's go ahead and compare that to actually what we're going up against. That's going to be very useful information there. Let me go ahead and just minimize that. So if we go for equipment. Can I get airfields? I can get airfields here. So we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at what we're actually going to be facing off against then. Start date. Okay. Yeah, the sealed numbers for tanks. Yeah, grav tanks. Can you imagine? Right, so T26 there. Oh, okay, so T20. Oh, okay, I feel bad about it. So T26 has pretty shockingly bad reliability then. BT is 40. Now, I do wonder if they're using reliability here to model something else. Okay. This is making me feel a little bit better about it. So, George. Oh, yeah, look at that reliability there, T-35. It's a shame, though, because you can actually capture the T-35, but it's just like, I've never actually seen it used in a TOE, and I really want to see it used. No, actually, regarding Moscow, that's a good thing. I'm going to talk on that in a second, actually. But, yeah, I really just... there needs to be an instance where I can force this into TOE. I just can't. Not really, because we don't really gain heavy tanks in TOEs. I don't know if we actually ever... I mean, I know we upgrade. I don't know if we ever upgrade to having Panzer divisions with heavy tanks as standard TOEs, or whether they're just always treated as like a support element. That's a good question. Because that does make a difference. When do we gain a heavy tank? I love how you see this in green. I do like the green. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at that. When do we gain a heavy tank? So that's when we gain the Panther as like standard TOE in 119 turns. So it doesn't seem that far away. Oh, it's going to feel like it. I do like the Lynx. The Lynx is so cool. Yeah, so I don't think we ever gain a heavy tank then in the Panzer TOE then. So yeah, that would make sense why I can't ever get my glorious fleet of T-35s out there. But we do have support units though that can do that with. Can I see when they would arrive? Can I sort by heavy tank? I can sort by AFV, and I guess we can take a look through there. So if I go ahead and take... yeah, that seems to be it then, null there. Seems to be that way. But I guess they are pretty new, aren't they, still, relatively speaking? I can't sort by size. I wish you could sort by size. How you doing there, AKK? Good to have you, my man. Yeah, so we'll be looking for like the heavy panzers. How long have I going now? Just shy of 2 hours. Fuck now. Right, so it's turn 48 when we first gained the... Oh no. 5 hours second heavy. Oh no, they're around a little bit earlier then. And this is a movement, so I'm not entirely sure when we do first gain one. So we do see one there on turn 36. Which arrives in reinforcement. Heavy Panzer Company. I'll have to take a look at that. Yeah, so we do have a heavy tank in there then. So we actually... I really like... I like the concept of having a T-35 in a heavy tank company, but it's just not going to happen, is it? Yeah. Now, essentially, the way I'm going to use tanks, so we're going to kind of see that in Stalingrad campaign 1 that I'm doing too, is I'm going to use them in places where we expect the enemy to be utilizing AFVs in masses, essentially. So, like, when you can see that the enemy is going to be using, like, tanks and mechanized against you, that sort of thing. I mean, mechanized is kind of overkill. I'd have to take a look at the actual table equipment of a mechanized, but in fairness, they can actually have a tank brigades attached to them, so probably still a fine idea to use them in that area. But yeah, essentially what I would go ahead and do then is have the actual Tigers concentrated. The idea being that you just simply have... I mean, it's effectively... You have, like, Pack 43s in numbers and an armoured chassis. I don't give a shit if it can move. The fact that... Well, I mean, obviously being able to move is helpful. But the fact that it's armoured and it's got an amazing gun, that's great. But you want to have that stuff massed there if you can. Yeah, so now speaking regarding the question of Moscow. Moscow is actually, and I know it's shocking, but Moscow is actually going to be my main target. And I've never said that before and probably never will again. But essentially that is what is going to happen is, yeah, Moscow is going to be the target. The reason for that, and generally, let me go ahead and just outline where I see the endpoint as. Let me go ahead and try and figure this one out now. It's going to be a little bit difficult here with the hexes on. I'll go ahead and take those off. So, generally I'm going to use an axis gray. So generally the endpoint I would like, and this is a little bit my assuming, but kinda give or take with the train out here. And this is where it gets fun. Like, kinda, and again, this depends over here. This is like a conservative light line. Well, I'd really kind of want that there too. Okay, so just kind of use that as like a rough line of where I'd probably set up shop a defensive line. Could probably move it a little bit further up, depends on how things go. But you might be thinking, well, why the fuck is he talking about Moscow? Because I'd like to go ahead and do that. Well, I guess that too could, but not likely. The idea would be that we obviously attack into Moscow, take Moscow, and then we GTFO out. I don't want to hold Moscow, I just want to take Moscow. If I take it for one turn, that's cool, I'm going to get the hell out of there. The reason why I want to do that, the reason why I'm contemplating something I normally don't contemplate is, by the way, I did a mod that changes the look of the trees. I don't know how they look. It may be overwritten by the actual map mod here, so I have no idea. But the reason why I would go for Moscow and just, all I need to do is just take Moscow, is it's kind of funny in how the game works. If I go ahead and take this up over here, so we can see the historical, yeah, so when these places were taken and when they were retaken. The odd thing about the game is the industry in these cities, in these hexes, if it was never taken, it doesn't move. Which, okay, it should really be up to the plate to evacuate the industry, I guess, but it's not, it's automatic. But essentially what we would do then is, so consider Moscow. So like all of these factories over here, they won't evacuate. They'll just remain here. The idea being essentially what we would do is take Moscow. I just want to take the city. Destroy the industry, because this is industry that I can't ordinarily get to. When industry is evacuated, I believe it can be damaged. Well, it arrives in a damaged state at its destination. It obviously has to be repaired, I believe. But the industry over here in Moscow would remain. P as Larry. But we need to change that, so we need to destroy that. The other big, huge, tremendous thing is the fact that this is a national supply source. There's a national supply source in Moscow, Berlin, Vienna. I think it's Kabuyev? Kubayshev. I can't remember how you bloody pronounce it now. But I believe that is the other Soviet national supply source. So effectively what happens is, if we take Moscow, we take out that national supply source, and it'll never come back. They would have to take all of our supply, well obviously, other than what's being produced out here, it would all have to come from over here to Kubayshev. Kubayshev, I don't know, fucking how you pronounce it. I can actually see these here. I've never actually looked over here at Germany to see the opposite side, so that's pretty funny. Oh yeah, Western Allied. That's cool. I've actually never ever looked at this side, so that's pretty cool there. Nice. Okay. So if I go over here then. So, if I recall correctly, national supply source will put up, it puts out something like 200,000 a turn, something crazy like that. Yeah, you can see that we have the railway at 180. Might be 180, something of that nature. That line is the point at which you transfer Army Group North, Panzer Group southwards. Yeah. Well, that's it, isn't it, really? So, let's go ahead and actually bring that up in the manual. Manuel, aha, I hardly knew him. I do want to double check on that swapping of AFVs, though. I just double check that. I need to know why it would swap. I was going to carry on with the swap one for a second. Okay. Damn. So if the Allied or Soviet takes Essen, Frankfurt, Berlin, Vienna, or Prague, German units that are destroyed will not return to the game, and all frozen German units won't freeze the next German logistics phase. Jeez. That's pretty nasty then, so yeah, if they take that. Can you sack Moscow? You can take it, and it's effectively sacked anyway. Equipment downgrades and swaps. A ground element of it, oh, that's for the air group. Yeah, that's air group. That's still important though. I've got that turn. I did get the turn from Garen. Actually, I need to go ahead and just work on that. I forgot about doing that actually. Alright. Are we still on air? Oh no, hang on. A ground element or air group can downgrade specific type of equipment if the production system determines that there's a shortage of current equipment, but is unable to keep up with the demands of all the units. Yeah, okay, so that's kind of what I'm thinking about here. So, this... but I need to know then, does it actually cost me to move it again? That's what I know. Okay. Equipment that is no longer produced will begin to be removed from the production pool by scrapping after last year's availability. Scrapping of obviously equipment doesn't happen. Okay. That's also a thing there as well. AFEs will not be scrapped if they are being used by any units in the game. So if I had that change, if I had them go to reserve, then they just lose the ones that are not required and they get replaced. Yeah, I guess I'll have to think about that. I'm sure I saw something about it being a rail constraint, but I could be wrong there. Yeah, I could be wrong. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take a look at national supply source then. Card type. National supply source. Okay. A Type 4 depot that acts as an ultimate source of supply. The establishment of a rail network and connection to the supply grid requires a trace of contiguous Papa rail line hexes, which can include over blah 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 to the supply source. Let's go ahead and find that. Oops. Okay. 302. The Allies will encroach That will happen. That will happen. You can delay it, but you can't deny it in a sense. It's kind of odd. So you kind of have to win in the East, or ultimately you will lose. And that way of loss can come from the Soviets kicking your ass, or it can come from the Western Allies eventually breaking you down in the West too. That can happen. Or both can happen. But we don't want neither to happen. Okay, oh actually no, I got it wrong. So we've got Berlin, Frankfurt, Vienna, and Prague. Okay. Now let's see. Non-campaign scenarios that do not use the entire map. Okay. Damn, I always thought it was just 2 of them there. So, Soviet on maps, supply sources of the campaign. So, Moscow, Kazan, Saratov, Chaklov, Chelyabinsk. I was even right about the second one, was I? So, we've got Moscow, Kazan, Saratov. Okay. Oh, I was bloody wrong, but. Okay. So, national. National. Saratov as well. But I guess I'd have to zoom in for those. Oh no, I already had Saratov. No, man, I'm a fucking idiot. Chelyabinsk. They may... Yeah, they may be further out though. Yeah, that one's one. No, that's not. That one is. Okay. Yeah, the idea is effectively... So the closest one then for us would be Moscow then. It's Saratov, but Saratov's actually quite far out. Okay. So let's see then, in terms of proximity. Kazan, Saratov, yeah, okay. So the other ones are quite far out then. Okay then. So in terms of national supply sources, then we have Moscow, we have Kazan, we have Saratov. I think those are the closest ones, and the other ones are out that way. Chaklov, and I think the other ones are up that way. Yeah, okay. So generally the idea, and the reason why we take Moscow, is destroy the industry that wouldn't otherwise be destroyed. Which I guess you could say the same for other sources, but essentially we want to make sure we can destroy this, because otherwise it doesn't evacuate. So it means we can actually destroy it, which is good. And then effectively the Soviet player is then having to utilize the national supply sources out this way, which is good. And they don't have the same capacity that Moscow does, which is very useful. I'm glad you brought that up there, George. It allowed me the opportunity to ramble on. Yeah, so you can see here that Saratov, it does have the dual rail into the city itself. So that can carry 30k of freight, that can carry 12. So you think 12, 30, 12, 12. No, there's only the 3 connections here. Well, technically a 4th connection, but you know what I mean. Like 3 connections into the city and out of the city directly. Kazan is even worse. Like Kazan has just a 12k networks here. So it is a national supply source, but it isn't going to be able to export all that much. While as Moscow, we have... Well, what don't we have? Let's go ahead and take a look. So this is Moscow itself. So you see there we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then obviously we have the other parts of Moscow. But that's 5 double rail lines coming out of Moscow itself. That's a lot of capacity. Sure, it might taper off elsewhere, but this is the center of the Russian rail network. That's what you want to take out. Like, Leningrad's definitely one that we do want to take as well. Like, I really freaking want Leningrad so much. But I believe, because this city was historically taken, then this actual production over here can evacuate anyway. So we can't get there and take out all of that production anyway. While as we can get to Moscow and take out all of the production there. Kill a national supply source, which means that they're going to lose... I mean, they'll be able to build up depots in this area, but they'll lose a lot of what they had at Moscow. There's a lot of manpower in Moscow too that we could damage, which sounds awful, but that's reality. Oh, how does it work? I think each point here represents something like 50,000 people. I could be wrong there. I think each point is about 50,000. Let me go ahead and double check that. Where's my bloody calculator? Okay. And I could do the maths, I'm too lazy to do the maths. Yeah, so that's 2.5 million there. And then do that again. So that's 3.3 million. Then North Moscow, 24 there. I think those are the numbers. So Moscow has a population here of about 4.5 million. I think Leningrad has a higher population. I could be wrong though, but Leningrad is a big city, so Leningrad... I mean, there are these cities around Leningrad, but Leningrad proper... 24 there. So Moscow itself is larger than Leningrad proper, but Leningrad has... Well, actually, that's not a massive city, but it's still a big city. 250,000. 250,000 there. Yeah, so... Yeah, it seems then that Moscow does have the population there. So there's a number of reasons to take Moscow, and it... I know it's shocking, and it is going to be hard. And the terrain here is awful. If I take a look, we do have at least roads in the area to make it a little bit more palatable. Especially having a good road does help too. But yeah, we would really have to push very hard and consistently to get there. But that's going to be the aim. Yeah, so it could be bad. It could be very bad. It would leave us in a very difficult situation to a degree. Excuse me. But the idea would be, ideally we could inflict enough damage to make it feasible. We'd obviously take the city and then get the hell out. And I think at that point we probably would fall back pretty considerably. But if we go ahead and take another look, a closer look into why taken out is a good reason. If we take a look at Kazan, Kazan there has actually a fairly sized rail, yeah, at 6 there. Saratov has a 5, which is good too, don't get me wrong. I think Moscow's like a 10. Oh, 9. I think 9 is the highest we have in the game. So that's a 9 there. That's a 9. And that's a 9. There you go. So, if I remember now, how much can that carry? I think each point of rail yard can handle about 10,000 tons of freight. So, God, I'm going to do maths. Is that 270,000 tons of freight? 9, 18... Yes, I think so. I could be still wrong, but I think that's what my peanut brain says. There's about 270 tons of... 270k of capacity to move freight. Over here, we have 60,000, I believe. And 50,000. Yeah, so that's quite the big decrease. That is quite a big decrease. Even these two added together doesn't equal Moscow. So essentially, if we could take Moscow... Leningrad itself is an interesting one, but I think if we were pushing towards Moscow, then they would have to pull forces or do something in order to stop that. I guess in terms of actual difficulty, it depends really. Like, Leningrad's not an easy one, but we do have... like, Leningrad's a little bit easier because the actual terrain around the city itself, and it can be cut off more easily in a sense. Like, you can obviously get around here, and then you can use air power to actually just isolate it via the patrols, which makes it easier. Moscow just has a shitload of forest around it. Shitload. So really, what we'd want to go ahead and do then is like try and come in this way if we could. Even then you got this bloody swamp over here. I just need to try and avoid the heavy forest, but at least with the heavy forest we have a good road that goes through it, so that's a little bit easier, but... Oh, that's for Uniwork. That's also for Uniwork. Oh, actually, I tell you what, I found this in... Like, I have to do with like a shitty historiographical essay at the moment, but I found this really cool paper I'm going to have a look at, actually. It came out in 2014, but it looks really cool. It looks really cool. I'm actually going to read this myself later on, actually, but it looks on my screen. Yeah, it talks about state capacity. China, Japan, and I'm like, ooh, that sounds like my jam. So I'll look at that later on. But I didn't mean to actually go to that one, I meant to go over here. So, national supply source. Where's the numbers? Oh yeah, there you go as well. In the late game, the Axis player is most likely to lose all these connections as the Western Allies advance, unless they're able to hold the Soviets back from breaking the direct connection between Berlin, Prague, and Vienna. Do you send your siege artillery to Leningrad and Sevastopol? Sevastopol really... Like, Sevastopol's one of those where, yes, siege artillery would surely be good, but siege artillery... I mean, this is it, like, Sevastopol is one that you can isolate it. There's not going to be all that many troops that are going to be heading to Crimea. But Leningrad would be the one I would send the artillery to, because, well, then again, it does depend, really. I could even just get behind sending the artillery elsewhere, really. So it's like, whenever you attack a city, you're not going to essentially attack it unless it's isolated. Unless you're, like, crazy or you have no choice. I know, right? So also I'm going to take a look at that. It looks pretty cool, in fact. I have to write this here in, like, historiographical, shitty essay. It's just on methods, and it just shows this question that talks about, like, historians and interdisciplinarity. It's really an easy question. I love it. It's so easy. But I've got that one as... I've got to have, like, 2 case studies or so. But I'm going to aim for 2 case studies, but essentially I'm using that one because it's just like... Yeah, it's using geography, it's using data, it's using all these amazing things in economics. It's like, oh, this is really cool. This is a really easy example to say why it's a good thing. Anyway, yeah, so... yeah, in regards to siege artillery... I think probably what I would do with it is rather than have it sent to siege, which sounds, I know, like, ridiculous, I'd probably have it sent to Moscow. Or to, well, probably for Smolensk as well, really. Yeah. Well, actually, no, Odessa could be a good idea as well. Like, Odessa early would be good. But again, like, Odessa, Sevastopol, Leningrad, those ones can be isolated, and they tend to be isolated relatively easily. Oh, quote-unquote. But they tend to be isolated more often than Moscow is. Or Smolensk. Smolensk is not an easy one to really... You kind of have to hope on the turn that you arrive in the second turn that it's going to be easy enough. So I think I'd probably have the siege artillery capped on... And just diverted really towards the centre, to Army Group Centre. And have it given over to the actual forces pushing up against, like, Smolensk. I'd really need Smolensk more than anything else. An early capture of Smolensk, especially a capture of Smolensk in turn 2, really does help out. It does mean that the land bridge is going to be significantly easier to actually get to. Because Smolensk is really the point that you can be delayed. Smolensk is really where Barbarossa tends to run out of gas. So if you can capture Smolensk, then that's a really good, and really a big deal. It just makes it that much harder for the Soviet player to delay you, and we can't afford to be delayed. So yeah, Smolensk would be the big one there. Okay, let's go ahead and take a look then. So... I might have got my numbers wrong. Okay. Rail yards located in the same source as national supply source... Sorry, same hex. Will produce 20 times... Yeah, okay, there we go. So, yeah, okay, so Saratov and... Kazan. They're actually more attractive than they first appeared then. So... Rail yards located in the same hex as a national supply source will produce 20 times the tonnage capacity as regular rail yards. For example, an undamaged level 2 rail yard will produce 20k capacity, 10k times 2. But the same rail yard in Berlin, a national supply source, will produce 400k capacity, so 200k. Yeah, I mean, that's ridiculously big. So imagine how big, imagine how big Moscow is. Moscow's gigantic. That's 20 times 9 then. 9 being 90k, I believe. Yeah, so we'll work that one out. So we have the 2 cities around it then, like the other parts of Moscow that produce 180k tonnage combined, while as Moscow itself then as a national supply source. So that's 20 times 10, 10k. Damn it, go back. 10k times 9. Yeah, so that's 1.8 million tons of freight there. So yeah, it just shows you how big of a deal Moscow is. Leningrad isn't a national supply source, so even though Leningrad has great rails, it's nothing compared to Moscow. So that's a big thing. That's a very big thing there, really. So national supply sources are permanent physical locations that represent the insertion point of production and logistical material from the virtual production pools, as well as freight tonnage. Each national supply source is set to generate 2.5 million tons of freight in each supply phase, and that's the big thing there. That's 2.5 million tons of freight. If an NSS is adjacent to an enemy unit, it will be reduced to 50,000 tons of freight and will not receive an automatic delivery of freight. It will continue to function as an SSS for determining whether units or hexes are isolated. A depot will totally cease to function as an SSS if it cannot trace a rail link to another on the map. Under these circumstances, okay. Loss. That's of an axis. Right, okay. That doesn't seem to bother the Soviets, they just lose it then. Yeah. Yeah, so there we go. So if we take a look at Moscow then, we have 90,000, 180,000, and then, what did I say, 1.8? Was it 1.8? Yeah, 1.8. So if I add 180,000. Yeah, so that's 1,980,000 tons of freight there. And then obviously Moscow itself receives 2.5 million tons of freight each turn. Or something of that nature. So that's a shitload of freight. That's a shitload of logistical reasons to take out Moscow. That's a big deal. That's a really, really big deal. So I'm glad that George brought that question up, because then really the biggest question of the campaign is already answered. What is the ultimate objective? And the ultimate objective is Moscow, and then to GTFO from Moscow, but Moscow, definitely. Other ones would then really depend. I mean, if we can take Leningrad, cool. I really do want to go ahead and take, like, Rostov. There's no way we go for Stalingrad in 421. You just cannot get there. Too much in the way. I know it kind of began with me, like, spending too long talking about the air phase. Then it came to me spending too long talking about the ground phase. And then we sort of evolved beyond that point to not even playing the air or the ground phase, and in fact just talking about abstract things. And then I talked about historiography for a while, and then I'm back. And we do the old hokey cokey. Yeah. Okay, rail yards represent the rolling stock available for moving units of freight. If the rail yard is greater than 1. Okay. Ah, there we go. That's what I was thinking of with 200,000. Right. Yeah. Uh-huh. That's a big thing there. See, the rail penalty is going to be pretty harsh. Yeah. So, this is a big thing then, really. We need, like, Minsk has to fall turn 1, which is going to happen. Yeah, player morale. I'm not too sure if there's any issue. There probably might be some issues. I guess we might be able to figure that one out. There may be events for that one. I'm not too sure, though. But there is access to... Sorry, there's Soviet events, so there probably will be. Where do we have... German mobilization events... Historical events... Let me see if we can actually see when they do gain men. Like, for example, on the 1st of May, they gain 200,000 men. Oh, sorry, there we go. Soviets released reserves 25th of November. They released 500,000 men. Yeah, then 200,000 men. 450,000 men. Yeah. Yeah, that's quite handy as well, actually. Is that if the Soviet player controls this city 26 turns later, they gain the second Polish army. But yeah, that's the thing to really look out for. These are the big dates. This one here is a big deal. So trying to destroy as many men in the opening salvo is a good idea. I'm sure there's something about Moscow. That's for the Axis. I could be wrong then, actually. I could be wrong then. Let's see what we get brought up from Moscow here. Oh, okay, here we go. It could impact the national morale. There we go. So modify the morale of units in the Moscow area by adding 5. Moscow area is fine. Okay. That's interesting. Oh, that's also a good thing there, with the rail damage in the Baltic there. Yeah, we're gonna have that one not... Oh, does it become... Is it just Saratov that becomes it? I assumed that they were all automatically National SS. Sorry, SS, NSS. Or are they just NSS in a sequence? Not too sure. That's good to know. If it starts off, that's great. That's even worse than Kazan. I will have to look into how experience works there. No, can't quite see at the moment then. Yeah, so I'm going to call the stream to an end. I'm pretty tired of talking now. I've waffled on for long enough. We've learned some important things, I guess. But yeah, essentially Moscow would be the target then, which would be difficult, but I think it could be achievable. Just need to make things work, which is why I'm going to spend so much time and be very, very, very anal about things. But yeah, essentially the next step would be then moving towards these areas here. That one I could avoid if I had it actually isolated via Naval Patrol, which is something I need to work on. If I can actually get the interdiction required... here, I forget what number I need. I can't remember if I need a 3 or a 2. I think that would be sufficient, but I can't recall. I would have to double check. I think it made me... Yes, I've got the 1 there. I think over here I just need a 2. But I would have to double check that. So if I had them fly this way, they might actually be able to isolate that port. And it's not considered isolated now, but it would be the turn afterwards in theory. It doesn't seem to object out of there. Well, at least it did in the first turn, but then again, none of them did in the first turn, because we're actually not at war at that point. Okay. So, no, Saratov is not an NSS till Moscow falls. Oh, okay, that's good to know then. Well, there we go, so there's even greater reason than to say Moscow out. Yeah, Saratov kind of sucks then, so that's great. That's great. 2 more than a Soviet number. Yeah, so over here I would need a 3, wouldn't I? So here I just need a 2 then. Yeah, so I think we can actually just make that work then by flying here. So we gain 2s. I should be able to just fly in these hexes here, and that should make it work then. That would be good. So I do want to isolate this port over here, because when we do move up over this way, take Riga, take that port, return after in the second turn, then this would be isolated, and these guys would be considered effed. And these guys would also be effed as well. That'd be good. No, so generally I'm fairly happy with things then as they are. We just need to just perfect it and just figure out how to do things. Like over here, the routing of the units then is good, but I need to measure where I need to have that. I could attack that unit there, attack that unit there, and make that work. There's certain units I'm going to have to attack, but we'll figure that one out. That I could probably take just with a motorized, perhaps. I'm going to have to see. The less units I have to waste over here at Riga, the better, really. Yeah, exactly as Nord says there, you need to encircle Moscow. That's the massive thing there, really. And the good news is, at least if you can get to within a hex of Moscow, it does screw the NSS, which would be pretty good. That would help a fair amount, really. But yeah. Okay, I'm tired of talking. I'm sure you guys are tired of listening. We'll figure that one out. What we'll do in the future as well, as we ultimately do go through the anal aspect of analysing things in a very roundabout way, as we'll make our way down to theatre. House rules. We did... I was talking... I've set up an actual play by email. Private chat, actually. Well, private room and Discord. Just to keep it, really, from clustering things. But yeah, we do have a couple ideas, like no merging of units inside pockets. There's a couple other ones as well, actually, that were mentioned, but I can't recall them at this moment in time. That'd be things that we'll work on, really. But yeah, so I do want to go ahead and try and improve on this number as well. 4.1, I'd like to get more than that. I'd also like to see if I could try to avoid these air combat losses. 66 is okay. I'd like to have better than that if I could manage it. Ultimately, if I could get 5k and have less than 100 losses, or about 100 as most, that would be okay. I may have a think about reconnaissance, but I guess it depends on certain things, really. I think I might even go ahead and have reconnaissance units moved in the opening of the campaign. Like... yeah, that might be something to go ahead and do there. Exactly that, Nord. I knew you'd focus in on that one. There's a certain fixation. Oh dear. Yeah, I think what I might go ahead and do as well then is maybe retain BF-110 E3s or something of that nature. It's really the shorter ranged reconnaissance that's the issue, really. Would have to take a look at that. Now, for example, the airfield over here. How's the actual airfield? Is the airfield undamaged? It looks like the airfield's actually undamaged then. That's okay, cool. Yeah, so essentially what we'd want to do then, I'd probably take more of the actual reconnaissance and have it focused down here around Brest-Litovsk so we can actually well, just, no, then again, in fairness, I could actually have it run over here, and then the turn after I'd probably have it focus on Army Group Center. Yeah, we'll go for it like that, man. Yeah, there we go. So I'm glad at least somebody's found it interesting and useful. I think what I'll go ahead and do then is not save this, because we'll use this information we've gained and improve on the next one, and so on and so forth. But if you guys have enjoyed this, I'm sure that some of you have been brought kicking and screaming through this. If you'd like to go ahead and consider spotting myself as a content creator, you can go ahead and get yourself this print. You don't get this writing on over here, because I thought I got in the way. But I do have a limited number of these guys, because I don't actually have the files anymore. If you'd like to go ahead and order one, that would be fantastic. It's a great way to support the channel. And you also get a nice print to actually mount on your wall yourself. This one I probably just need to delete. I forget what's associated with that one, but Patreon didn't let me delete it at the time. But yeah, that would be great. Do bear in mind, though, that I can't cover post and packaging to certain locations. I did have a order for a print yesterday, and unfortunately it was £16 to send that international, which was a big shame there. So I do have to pass on the post and packaging. But yeah, that's only if you want to support the channel, but you actually get something for it. So until next time, thank you for watching. Do all that liking and etc. I've been saying that for a couple of years now, I just don't even say it anymore. So next time, like it's been SI, sayonara, stay sexy, especially you, Lord, and your anal fixation. Goodbye for now. Take care, guys.